I, 32M, never thought I'd be writing one of these posts, but here I am. Kira, 29F, and I had been together for 4 years, living together for 2. We'd talked about marriage, kids, the whole future. I thought we were solid. We'd even opened a joint savings account last year for our future home fund that we both contributed to monthly. Everything seemed perfect until 3 weeks ago. Kira told me she was going on a business trip to Chicago for a week, some big conference her marketing firm was attending. I didn't think anything of it. She travels for work about once a quarter, so this wasn't unusual. She packed her bags, I drove her to the airport, and we said our goodbyes with a kiss. The first sign something was off came 2 days into her trip. I called her hotel room when she wasn't answering her cell, and the front desk said they had no one by that name registered. I figured I must have the wrong hotel and texted her. She called back an hour later saying she was staying at a different hotel than originally planned because the company had changed arrangements last minute. It made sense, but something felt off about how flustered she sounded. Still, I trusted her, so I brushed it off. Then came the social media post that destroyed everything. A mutual friend of ours, Taylor, posted a story on Instagram. It was a beautiful beach sunset with the caption, "Nothing beats Cancun views." I wouldn't have thought twice about it, except I spotted 2 familiar figures in the corner of the image. I zoomed in, and my stomach dropped. There was Kira, in a bikini I'd never seen before, walking hand in hand with a guy I recognized immediately, her ex, Jason. I felt physically sick. Taylor must not have noticed them in the background before posting. The timestamp showed it was from earlier that day, while Kira was supposedly in conference sessions in Chicago. I called Taylor immediately. She was mortified when I told her what I'd seen. She confirmed she'd run into Kira and Jason at her resort, but thought I knew about the trip. Apparently, Kira had told her we'd broken up a few weeks ago. My mind was racing. I checked our credit card statements and found the flights to Cancun, resort charges, and even a couple's massage purchased 3 weeks earlier. All on her personal card, not our joint one, but the evidence was clear. This trip was premeditated. I also discovered text messages between them going back months. I wasn't proud of checking her laptop that synced messages from her phone, but I needed answers. Their conversations revealed they'd been talking for at least 6 months, and this wasn't just a friendship. She'd been planning to leave me after this trip, after cleaning out her savings account. That's when I made my decision. Without saying a word to her, I went to the bank the next morning and froze our joint account. Then I packed my essentials and left our apartment. I crashed at my buddy Mike's place that night. I couldn't sleep, my phone blowing up with increasingly panicked texts from Kira. Apparently, she tried to make a purchase at some expensive restaurant in Cancun and her card was declined. That's when she discovered our joint account was frozen. "What's going on with our account?" she texted, not mentioning where she was or who she was with. I didn't respond. Let her sweat it out in paradise with her ex while I picked up the pieces of my life. The following morning, I met with a lawyer. I wasn't married to Kira, but we had enough shared assets and lease agreements that I wanted professional advice. She confirmed I'd done the right thing by freezing the account rather than emptying it, which could have caused legal problems. Since both names were on the account, I had every right to place a temporary freeze if I suspected fraud or misuse, which technically, I did. The lawyer helped me draft a formal message to Kira outlining that I knew about her deception, had evidence of her infidelity, and wanted a clean break. We would need to meet to divide assets once she returned, but until then, the account would remain frozen to ensure fair distribution. When I got back to Mike's place, Kira had left 17 voicemails. I steeled myself and listened to them in order. The first few were confused, then angry, then desperately making up excuses about why she was in Cancun. It was a last-minute work thing. Jason just happened to be here too. By the final message, she had dropped all pretenses. "Fine. Yes, I'm with Jason. I was going to tell you everything when I got back. It just happened, okay? We reconnected online a few months ago, and I realized I never got over him. But freezing our account? That's low, even for you. I need that money." I texted her the formal letter my lawyer had drafted, then blocked her number. I knew we'd have to talk eventually, but I needed space. The next few days were a blur. I lined up a new apartment, took time off work for my mental health, and told our closest friends what had happened. Most were supportive, though a few mutual friends said I should have heard her out before taking such drastic action. I didn't care, the evidence was clear, and her own messages confirmed the truth. 5 days after I left, Kira returned from Cancun. She showed up at Mike's door, mascara streaked from crying. Jason was nowhere to be seen. "Can we talk?" she pleaded. Things got complicated in Cancun. Jason and I had a huge fight. He's not who I thought he was. I made a terrible mistake. Mike, bless him, told her to leave before I even had a chance to respond. Later that day, her mother called me, the first time we'd spoken in months. She'd always liked me, which made the conversation even more painful. Kira told me everything, she said quietly. Not her version, the actual truth. She admitted it all to me last night. I just wanted you to know I don't blame you for what you did. She's staying with me now. Jason left her at the resort after they fought about money. I thanked her for calling but told her there was no going back. Some betrayals cut too deep. It's been a month since everything fell apart, and I'm finally ready to share the conclusion to this mess. 2 weeks after Kira returned, we met with our respective lawyers to divide our assets. The meeting was tense but professional. Kira looked exhausted, her usual confidence replaced by a defeated demeanor. I almost felt sorry for her, almost. We agreed to unfreeze the account and split it evenly, despite the fact that I'd contributed slightly more. I just wanted this chapter closed. My lawyer insisted on documenting all agreements, which turned out to be crucial when Kira later tried claiming she deserved more of our shared furniture because she'd picked most of it out. Jason, I learned, had left her stranded at the resort after discovering she hadn't actually broken up with me yet. Apparently, he thought they were rekindling their relationship with a clean slate, not having an affair. When he found out I was still in the picture, he accused her of planning to use him as a backup while draining our savings. The irony wasn't lost on me. The most surprising part came when our mutual friend Taylor sent me screenshots of messages Kira had sent her, admitting the whole plan. She'd reconnected with Jason 6 months ago and had been seeing him behind my back since then. The Cancun trip was meant to be their new beginning, after which she planned to return home, take her share of our savings, and possibly more, and leave me for him. She'd even started moving personal items to her mother's house in preparation. What she hadn't counted on was Jason's reaction to learning he was the other man, or my discovery of her betrayal before she could execute her plan. When I packed up the last of my things from our old apartment, I found a letter Kira had written but never sent, addressed to me and dated 2 months ago. In it, she detailed how she felt trapped in our relationship despite my perfect boyfriend behavior. The grass is greener syndrome was written all over those pages. She thought Jason represented excitement and passion while I represented stability and safety. She wanted both, but knew she couldn't have them. I left the letter where I found it. Some words can't be unread, and I needed no further closure. Yesterday, I ran into Kira at a coffee shop. It was bound to happen eventually in a city this size. She asked if we could talk, and against my better judgment, I agreed. I know I can never fix what I did, she said, eyes fixed on her untouched latte. But I want you to know I'm seeing a therapist now. I didn't understand why I was willing to throw away something real for a fantasy. I'm not asking for another chance. I know that ship has sailed, but I needed to tell you how sorry I am. I told her I appreciated her apology, but couldn't offer forgiveness yet. Maybe someday, but not now. As I walked away, I felt a weight lifting. The joint account is closed, the assets divided, and my new apartment feels more like home every day. I've even started dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee and conversations. My trust is still bruised, but not broken. To anyone going through something similar, trust your gut, protect yourself legally, and remember that someone else's betrayal reflects their character, not your worth. You will rebuild. You will heal. And eventually, their chapter in your life will be just that. A single chapter in a much longer story.